I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have never recorded a video in my life before. I know a little bit of editing, but it's definitely like very amateur. So anyway, with Endwalker on the horizon and everyone contributing their wild theories about what's gonna happen in this story, I wanted to contribute to that as well and put on my tinfoil hat, and say that the end is nigh and all that. Obviously, this is just conjecture and it may or may not happen, like this is just for fun. But I hope you like it, and if you do, please let me know in the comments. Now, I've seen some really good theories out there, from us being tempered by Hydaelyn to Xenos becoming an ally, but I'm not here to talk about them today. I would rather focus my attention on one specific character, one that has been with us since the very beginning, Alphinaud, and how this is going to end up being his final chapter. I don't know what some of you are thinking. The writing's on the wall because the game is taking heavy inspirations from Final Fantasy IV. I mean, in the trailer, we went from Dark Knight to Paladin, which essentially makes us Cecil. The twins are basically Paloma and Porom at this point. We're going to the moon, we have the lunar whale, like, what else do you need? It's obviously there. But wait, there is more, and our first clue is in the city of Sharlayan. Sharlayan is a city of scholars, but no, not the kind we're all familiar with. No. These scholars think they're better than you, and they probably are. Okay, so why should we care about Sharlayan? What's important to know about Sharlayan is that they're loosely based off ancient Greece. For example, when we first meet the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, they were introduced themselves as Archons. In our world, the term Archon originated in ancient Greece, and it meant leader or ruler. In Final Fantasy XIV terms, the title is reserved to those who demonstrate exceptional knowledge in their respective subjects. Not only that, but the government structure in Sharlayan is centered around the Forum, or the Ecclesia, which is a form of government for the people, by the people.
But the people are retarded.
I beg your pardon?
And finally, Sharlayans compile all their collective knowledge in something called the Bibliotheca Historica, according to a lore book. Now, what's really interesting about this fact is that we have a real-world equivalent of the same book with the same name, written in ancient Greece. Our second clue comes from one of the new zones, Labyrinthos, and we don't know a whole lot about it, other than it has like kind of unsettling music. But we do know one thing, it is made by Sharlayan. And how do we know that? It's because of the Aetheryte. If you notice in the trailer, the Aetheryte displayed in Labyrinthos is the exact same as the one we have in Idleshire. Alright, cool, that still doesn't tell us anything. Well, what does the name Labyrinthos remind you of? To me personally, it reminds me of Labyrinth, it's in the name. And since we established that Sharlayan is based on ancient Greece, and Labyrinthos is reminiscent of Labyrinth, what ancient Greek mythology involves a labyrinth? It's the one with the Minotaur. Specifically, the story of Icarus. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the story of Icarus, gather around, get comfy, because it's story time. A long time ago, there was a master craftsman by the name of Daedalus, and he was commissioned by King Minos to create a labyrinth so complex that not a single soul could escape it. And Daedalus was so good at his job that once he was done making the labyrinth, he was also trapped inside, and he could not escape. Being the master craftsman that he was, he made a pair of wings out of wax and feathers in order to escape the labyrinth. But Daedalus was not alone. He was with his son Icarus. And so, both of them were meant to use those wings to fly over the labyrinth and escape towards freedom. But before they did so, Daedalus turned towards his son and said, "Son, do not fly too close to the sun, because your wings will burn." And his son Icarus responded, "Okay, Dad." And like any good teenager out there, he didn't actually listen to his dad, so he flew a little too close to the sun. His wings set on fire, and he eventually fell into the ocean and drowned. Now, I'm sorry if that was a little slow, but I want you to keep that in mind because our third clue comes from Shadowbringers, and in it, it's pretty much established that us, as the Warrior of Light, are a shard of Azim. After returning from our adventures in the first, Urianger was there to theorize and establish a connection between the 12 and the Convocation. And I quote, "By thine account, the 14th seat of the Convocation was known as Azim. At the title's distinctly familiar ring, mine imagination could not fail but run wild. From Azima, the Warden in Eorzea, to Azim, the Dawnfather in the Far East, in nigh every corner of Hydaelyn do those deities, revered as personifications of the sun, share like names. Could they all perhaps trace their origin to a 14th seat, I did muse. Though it may ne'er be proven or otherwise, such a theory, I do believe, lieth firmly within the realm of possibility. And if that's true, that means our past deeds were recorded in the form of Azima the Warden and Azim the Dawnfather, and both deities, despite being on opposite sides of the world, share the common symbol of the sun. And I guess that also means the Azim's steps are a little tribute to what we did in the past.
Little?
Finally, our last clue is that Alphinaud is going to become a sage. Normally, sage is one of the best jobs you can obtain in Final Fantasy. They are usually masters of black magic, white magic, and summoning magic, but in Final Fantasy XIV, it's a little different. In here, they are classified as healers and have skills like diagnosis, doses, and... With that, it's time to gather our 4 clues and reach the conclusion. Today we established that Sharlayan is based on ancient Greece, and ancient Greece is known for having a lot of myths and legends. We also established that Labyrinthos is made by Sharlayan, which means Labyrinthos is also tied to ancient Greece, and we know that Labyrinthos is reminiscent of Labyrinth, it's in the name. The only labyrinth I could find that came up in ancient Greek mythology was the story of the Minotaur and Icarus. Icarus, the boy who disobeyed his dad, flying too close to the sun, burning his wings, and drowning. Who fits that description better than Alphinaud? Which, by the way, Alphinaud cannot swim! He would drown! We know for a fact that Alphinaud is gonna become a sage. And one of the skills sages have is called Icarus! The writing is right there! He is gonna fly too close to the sun, and he's gonna pay for it. But it's not the actual physical sun. No. It's us. When the Scions returned from the first, Urianger was the first one to establish a link between Azim from the Convocation and Azima the Warden and Azim the Dawnfather, both of which are depicted as the sun. And look at the title screen! That's us! That's us in Hydaelyn, traveling to the moon, it's right there! And Alphinaud is gonna try to help us out, and he's gonna pay! He's gonna die for it! And I swear to God, if we find out that Alphinaud's dad is the one who made Labyrinthos, I'm gonna lose my mind and I'm gonna scream.
To have you at my side, it means more to me than you know. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. Given what lies ahead, I did not wish to leave for later that which I could do today. After all, tomorrow is never promised.